I'm your ice cream man, baby. Stop me when I'm passing by. Red, white, and blue. In honor of the 4th of July.
Hey!
And it's a few days after the 4th of July.
I know.
But we should celebrate the things worth celebrating all the time. Like Valentine's. Don't tell me when to be romantic. I'm going to be romantic when I feel like being romantic. And today, we're red, white, and blue.
And I'm a little Valentine red. See, now you mixed our two holidays. Because Valentine's Day should be a holiday, don't you think? A total holiday. Nobody goes to work. They just stay home and make out.
Make sweet love.
Oh, yeah.
And listen to Anita Baker while she sings, Sweet love, I'll be do-do-do-do-do. Anita Baker. You guys, if you don't know Anita Baker, can you go and give a listen to Anita Baker?
To your Valentine's Day playlist.
Yes, mostly Luther and Anita. And a little bit of, you know, maybe D'Angelo and Maxwell. Okay, we're in an R&B red, white, and blue mood. So today's...
We're going to welcome people. We forget to do that.
Well, you're the good cop, so...
Okay, I'll be the good. Welcome to Harleys Hairspray.
Hi, everybody.
There, I said it. Okay, now we can get on to it.
Yeah. What's our discussion of the day?
I'm not sure.
Okay, hold on. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
You guys, have you been following? I mean, have you been following the series of conversations and where we begin and how we've tried to unfold this? And sometimes you might feel like you're inside a pinball machine because we boom, 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 and we ping pong around like a ball inside a pinball machine. But I think more importantly, if you catch the thread of our conversation,
yes,
and hold on to the thread like a kindergartner holding onto a rope and crossing the street,
yes,
I think it'll serve you in the best possible way.
Well, here's what happens. And I think it's quite like, is this where we are today? It's quite like the artistic process.
Oh.
So like we start, like what we're really doing is kind of like we're gathering. We're like, oh, what are we doing today? I'm not sure. You know what I'm like in rehearsal? It's ridiculous. I'm like a dog in rehearsal. You know how a dog walks in, goes to sit down or lie down, but they have to circle?
Yes.
I do that.
Yes.
I do that in the rehearsal space. I come in, I say, does anybody need tea? What do I need? Do I need a wrap? Do I need to eat something? Circle, circle, circle. And then something happens like, I'm ready. And so we're in that process right now.
Yeah, and how do you know when to settle in? Does it just feel good? Feel comfortable?
I don't know. I think it's a bit of my nervous system goes, have I touched all the things? Ooh, I've touched all the things. But I'm still not in the artistic process. That's just getting there.
Right.
Then in the artistic process, it's like you explore something like we're doing right now, and then you wait for the gate. A gate will open, and you're like, you'll go into the gate. You're like, oh, where am I? And sometimes you'll go through 2 or 3.
Like a dog park with the double door, triple door. You just got to keep walking.
Like a dog park.
And finally you're in.
I was going to go there.
Oh, really?
I was.
Oh, dog park.
Absolutely. Being a bit of a puppy myself. So, process.
Yeah. And I think that's part of what I love about our conversations because they're unscripted.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like when you search and you get your feelers out and you're open to the exploration. It needs to be unscripted because you can't script this. I was talking to a friend of mine and she was over and she said, I have to write a speech. I'm the maid of honor for my sister's wedding. And I have to write a speech. And I said, why are you writing a speech?
Oh my gosh.
Right? Because you have speech people and you have non-speech people, or writer speech people and non-writer speech people.
Freestylers.
And she said, well, I need something to hang on to. I said, hold on. So you're going to script out how you feel about your sister? You
are the bad cop.
I'm such a bad cop. You are going to script out. You're going to write out. She is generous. She's always been there for me. She is a great mother. Really, you're going to script all that stuff out instead of just speaking from the heart. If I see you reading a script about how you feel about your sister, it will diminish my perspective of you. That's what I said to her.
You are such a high achiever.
And then she, of course, got stressed out because so many people get stressed out about public speaking. But she completely realized how valid my point was. So we're still undecided about whether she's going to write a speech or just speak from the heart. But when this podcast wins a potty, is there or a YouTubey, whatever the award is for this medium, when we start winning awards, I promise you, all of you, you have it here, not in writing, but let's call this a contract, a verbal contract. The court of law will never accept this. I promise you there will be nothing scripted. I will speak from the heart, and I won't judge you if you choose to write something down, because you probably don't want to forget any of the most salient points. But I will speak without a script, and I will follow my own counsel.
Ooh, I will follow my own counsel.
I will practice what I preach, babies.
Okay, well, let me share a little bit about what happens for me, because I'm a total freestyler, for sure. And as long as I've got someone to play off of, I don't actually need much. It's because it's about what happens between this.
Yeah.
That's where the magic is,
There's a third thing. There's a third party.
Totally, right? And but if I'm by myself, and even if I was like, if I had to be official and like show up to that official awards ceremony that we're going to be invited to.
It's the Webby.
Oh, the Webby.
No, it's not the YouTube, it's the Webby.
It's the Webby. Okay,
we're gonna Webby.
So when we're gonna go there, when you'll see us there, you will likely see me with like a jazz line. So I'll have like a card that'll have like, these are the 3 things I gotta hit. I gotta hit these 3 things. How I get there, we shall see. But what that actually does is it protects you from me just taking over the whole mic.
Thank you for protecting me.
Yeah, because I will like...
You will take over.
Oh, yeah. And it keeps me on point.
Yeah, I think a skeletal sketch is good. And then hanging meat on the bones. Isn't that very much like a jazz head? So you have the so what idea. And then you start improvising you improvise solos over that idea. So once you have a little skeletal construct in place, and it keeps you safe, but it also guides you as your rudder, not your anchor, but your rudder. Anchor keeps you in one place, rudder moves you. Then you can really customize it and make it your own by improvising or hanging meat on that skeleton. So I completely understand the value of that. I'm not devaluing that whatsoever.
You need to tell me more. Yes. You said so. That's the so what statement?
Yeah. So that song is called So What. So you have Bill Evans on the quartal harmony made out of fourths, and bass. So that tune is called So What. But I love the fact that it's such a challenging tune. First of all, it's not major or minor, it's Dorian. Don't even get me started on Dorian. It's just another flavor. But actually,
we're in Back to the Future now.
Several hundred
Dorian. It was a car. Wasn't the car a Dorian?
No, it was a McLaren.
Oh shit.
But the Dorian was many hundreds of years ago. The Dorian was not played freely anywhere because it was seen as the mode of orgiastic frenzy. When people would hear the Dorian, it would turn into a Caligula party. The togas would come off, and it would just be mayhem. So you don't just play the Dorian anywhere.
Oh, no, that's dangerous.
Very dangerous. So I think as you're circling around as the puppy, if I could cycle back, what we're doing is we're finding the right palette of colors to play with. But you also have to understand what those colors imply. Purple will affect you in one way. Red will affect you in another. I'm being very affected. Dorian will affect you in one way. If a specific use of profanity in writing, for example, is meant to be impactful or reinforce a certain exclamation, right? Mm-hmm. Everything communicates, and everything needs to be specific. So as you're circling around and you're picking your colors and you're deciding what to play with, you also need to kind of have mastery of what that means so that you can really manipulate, or will manipulate in your case, manipulate your arsenal of artistic weapons.
Okay, so just pause for a sec. So let's go back to this freestyling thing.
I don't think you could totally take over the mic. I'm not the guy.
You know what? I think you're right.
I can't just sit back that long. I don't have... that's not how I'm wired.
I'll just wear something super hot so everyone's looking at me.
Perfect. Sold. Sold 100% of the time.
I got that. Okay. Let's go back to this, though. So what I've heard you just say is that, choose your colors, be deliberate, right? Because they're impactful. However, if we want to freestyle, how does freestyling fit in with being deliberate?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. So, if you walk into my house, if my kids walk into my house, they know that there's a certain code of conduct. There's a certain rubric of rules which is in place, which they have to follow.
Okay.
But within that rubric, they're free to go into any room and do whatever they want to do, engage in most acceptable activities. They are teenagers, and I'm almost empty nesting. But so they have total freedom to freestyle within a certain set of parameters, which happen in my house. In a different house, you have a different set of parameters.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I see it. If you really understand the rule book and the parameters, within those parameters, then you can completely freestyle. Otherwise, it would be, the options, I think, would be limitless, and you would get lost because there would be too many choices. So I find that if I'm writing, something needs to guide me. I have a verse and a chorus, and I'm going to do a verse in major and a chorus in Dorian or something.
Mayhem.
And then Orgiastic Frenzy, baby making music in the Dorian. So I'm sorry, my face was so ridiculous when I just said baby making music, and I know this. But so I can do anything I want as long as they stay within those parameters.
Okay.
Which then facilitates and empowers your improvisation and your free play.
So here's what's cool about that, because this whole conversation series that we're doing is about life as art and helping everyone recognize you are an artist, right?
We all are.
We all are. Yeah.
No, we all are. There's no argument.
Oh, okay. Every time I say life is art, we are artists, he's just going to like put a big period at the end of the statement.
For sure.
Because we're emphatic about it. Okay. So now I'm sure you've had this in your life too, or maybe not, but I have certainly had people say to me in my life, oh, but you know, that's easy for you. You know, you're an artist. I could never live like that because it's chaos. You know, Tina, have you ever considered just like choosing something? Like maybe you should just slow down and choose a lane kind of thing, right? I'm like, I don't think you get it. So I'm going to just pause just for a sec because I think that's the fear for non-artists. I know we're all artists, but people who may not self-identify as artists yet, that they like, if I step into that artist ring, it's going to be fucking mayhem. I don't know what's going to happen. It's chaos in there. And what you're offering is so freaking smart, which is get to know the container that you are, or the container you want to play in, or the container that is your life, and let that be where art can live. So you and I might put art first. Like it drives my bus. Art drives my bus. I follow it. Half the time I'm chasing the art that's dragging me around, right? But it can work the other way around and go, my life is driving, but I'm going to emerge in that.
You walk into your closet.
What's going on? Hold on. There we go. Okay.
You walk into your closet.
Yes.
This is how we're all artists. Every morning you make a decision. You walk into your closet.
I just want to make sure this is recording. It is. Okay. Sorry,
oh, yeah.
I moved your thing.
Oh, my thing has been moved. And you make certain creative decisions about what outfit to put on.
Yes.
In a small degree, you're doing the artist exercise.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
But also, you're just in your closet. That's the container. You can only make the choices within that closet. So be creative about your summer outfit in your summer section in your closet. But you are making creative decisions in a container. That's exactly right. And there's no difference at all between those small steps and what we would define to be traditional art, whether it's sculpture or writing or songcraft or dance. It's the same thing. Make decisions, make creative, impulsive, fun, intentional decisions that are brand new to that moment, brand new to that day, but you're making them within a safe environment of whatever your creative closet is.
So here's what I love about that is and to me this is art, right? Is when
from the dog park to the closet.
From the dog park to the closet.
You got it all.
3 gates to get there. We just put impulsive and intentional beside each other.
Yeah, that's right,
I freaking love that.
That's right. That's right.
Like that's it. It's all about opposites. It's all about polarization. It's
tension resolution, as we've said before.
Tension resolution and like stepping fully into complexity and going, yeah, and finding your doing your circles until you settle in.
Right, because you're like, what do I feel like today? Yes, that's what I feel like. But if I feel like that, that also implies that I have to connect it to this.
Yeah. And
that's how it works. I really want to wear this shirt today. But that now binds me into certain more limited options about what I wear below the equator. Right. Well, I mean,
Yes.
whatever your gender, style, regimen is, so below the equator. But there's an impulse with. This impulse leads to other intentional decisions, but they do a dance.
Yep.
Something has to inspire you.
Yep.
And then that inspiration leads you to more specific, intentional, almost educated based on your wherewithal.
I think they got it.
Oh, sorry.
I was calling it because I think they got it.
Wow. Okay.
I'm the bad cop in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the process.
I love it.
And also that reinforces that we're all artists because we're already making those decisions. Whether you make them about notes or sentence structure or the outfit of the day, at the end of it all, it's still how you show up in the world and it's your self-expression.
Because every day is actually a freestyle.
Totally.
Ooh, I love that.
And this is why, to a small degree, we are all artists. And I can make a million long-winded examples come forth about what you do in the kitchen or what you do in the closet or how you raise your kids or how you interact with your siblings or where you choose to walk your dog because you're tired of the same old path. And that's all artistry. Creative decisions that we all make daily. And there's just no argument for that. Unless you have a different definition of what art is.
That's a whole other conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me ask you this. Do you think we are... Based on that definition, if we roll with that for the moment, based on that, do you think we are born artists? Or do you think we learn how to be impulsive and intentional in our choices based on our environment, based on what we see from our mom and dad?
I think we're born creative.
Yes.
And depending on the environment that we're in, that environment will teach us where we're allowed to go. But we're born creative. Like impulses come all the time. You know what I love to do? I love to watch actors and see when the impulse comes and they miss it. Because you can see it in their body, and I do it because I'm a thinker. Miss it. And some of them do something. You know who my favorite one is? Is Kiefer Sutherland. I love to pick on him. I totally love to pick on Kiefer Sutherland.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Rapper.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he's someone who like the impulse hits his body, and he does this weird head thing, and then he says the line.
Oh.
Watch him on screen. You can see the impulse, whatever the creative impulse is, to interact with his fellow actor, whatever, hits his body. He makes this weird head thing, says the line. You can't say the line on the impulse, and I get that because I have that.
That's interesting.
I do that too. It's when you're thinking actors are often the hardest ones because their thinking gets in the way of the impulse. And what you want to do, as you know, in music too, is like being in the zone piece. Is the music is living on the impulse. You don't get in front of it and you don't get behind it. You get in it, and it's not an easy thing to do. So I love noticing that. So we're born creative and we're born with impulses. It's just how do we live in those impulses?
Right. And also what you said about the environment. I remember this great story. I was 27 and I thought in my head I thought I was so hot in every way. No, academically, not just aesthetically. But I just finished my doctorate.
I didn't know you can be hot academically.
Yeah, I just thought at 27 I have my doctorate. I'm
hot.
I'm hot, man. I'm hot right now.
How old were you when you got your doctorate?
27.
Shut up. Okay, that is hot.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
I've been a doctor longer in life than I haven't. That's how old I am.
Wow.
Do the math, everybody. Okay, so I just received my doctorate, and to celebrate, I go to Rio.
Sorry, I'm still stuck on 27 doctorate.
27.
Okay, so now you're in Rio. You've got your doctorate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, good things happen at 27. Think about, the Club of 27, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison. They had full careers by 27 and became legendary. So I just think, okay, I got my doctorate. I'm sort of like 27-ing, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
I'm super hot. I've mastered this. No, I've gone beyond my mastery, because that's just a master's degree. I've created something new, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I go to Rio.
There's medicine! No. Sorry, I'm just riffing. Okay, go on.
I'm healing the world with my music doctor. So Dr. Music flies down to Rio. And Dr. Music, after spending some time on the touristy beaches, I go into the barrio. Because I want to explore, right? I want some street food. I want to get lost in my lack of Portuguese. And I want to see how the locals live. So I'm cruising through the barrio. And there are 4 kids on a street corner, and they're playing Tupperware containers. They're playing a group percussion on old, broken down Tupperware and garbage cans. I'm a doctor of music. I can't find the one. I can't find the one in their pattern. The one is the strongest beat, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I can't hear it. And they're doing it in canon, and they're echoing and riffing off each other. All 4 of them are so in concert and in sync, and they're 10 years old, as a guesstimate. No formal education, no PhDs anywhere in that group, playing broken Tupperware with sticks. So when you see how your environment, first of all, how we're truly born creative, and how your environment shapes what you do with that impulse and that creativity, and how knowledge and education comes in so many forms, but you must express it. That's the thing that elevates you. That's the thing that moves you forward. When you see that, you realize, no, we're meant for this. We're all. I don't know what those guys are doing now. They may be playing soccer, or they may be coaching. They may be teaching kindergarten. They may be in jail. Whatever, the whole range. But the fact that I couldn't find the one, and they were so in tune and so innately musical. This was not. This didn't come from schooling. They didn't learn this in solfeggio class.
Right.
And they were just grooving. And the humility I felt at that moment, I went from super academically hot to, oh, I got some learning to do.
So
just beginning.
I'm not sure if this is another conversation, but let's just see if we want to stop here and keep going. But okay, on another one. But here's where I am. One is just a construct anyway.
Oh, the downbeat.
Yeah.
The one is a construct.
It's a construct. Right? And where I am with that, so like there, and so there's one first thought. What if one is a construct, which it is, because we made it up. And the second thing is that
that just blew my mind.
Okay.
The downbeat is the construct.
It's a construct.
Okay.
Okay. And then the second thing is that they were so in the impulse that you couldn't track it. And they didn't need to track it. They didn't need to wait for the one. They didn't need to feel the one to come in. They could feel each other. Like, so they were in that communication space. That's where I go with that. And they were making music like nature, like the flow of water. There's no downbeat in water. It just moves. And then that makes me think, and I certainly haven't done a lot of work or anything in instrumental music and like Brian Eno, atmospheric music. But does he have a one? Does Brian Eno have one? Downbeats? I've never even thought to think to listen for it. Or does he have phrasings? Is that what he does? I don't actually know. I think it's recording. It's just doing a weird thing on my computer.
Okay, we're checking. We're a multi-camera show, as I was saying earlier. I want to make sure that all of our cameras are working. Yes.
Brian Eno.
Well, certainly if he's producing U2, there is a one.
Right.
If he's doing sounds for the airport, there doesn't need to be a one. It's just a soundscape. It's just a wash.
So then he's let go of the construct.
Yeah, so maybe we use the constructs based on our medium and our purpose and our objective. Sometimes that construct is necessary for the form of creating a U2 record. Right. And sometimes it's not, because you just need a wash and a wall of sound like the water flowing. His music for airports is a brook and water coming from the mountain directionally because it has to. It can't not. So I think in understanding his scope of work in that paradigm, it's much more like that.
So let's go back to life and go back to let's tie this up, because we opened this conversation on how you and I would be at the mic, right? And you just show up, and I would have a jazz line, and we're both responsive people. We're both, which is cool.
Both are valid approaches.
Totally, and so it sounds like it's like in life, to live into that fulfillment of our being and the expression of our being, or the artistry of our being. I think we're saying in this conversation, pay attention, notice what flow or what water feels like in your artistry, where you don't have a context, you're literally just surrendered, and notice what it's like when you've got a downbeat, when you've got a path that you're following. And sometimes that path is meant to take you off path, which is what the downbeat's for, because you always know where the path is. You don't have to be on it, you just know when it is. You can self-locate. So it's kind of like we're saying, check in with yourself. You've got 3 ways to express yourself that we're offering today.
And isn't it great that we are in charge of our choices? Yeah. We have the skills and we have the capacity.
Yeah.
That's great. But there is no wrong way. If you show up and you're open and you're impulsive and intentional, there is no wrong way.
Yeah.
So truly, my friend, I'm not going to judge her if she writes a speech. I won't. I don't understand. That's not my approach. It's alien to me.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't judge it because it's the right path for her river to flow.
Yeah.
And that's cool. So, wow, there you go. That's the big mantra of the day, the big ticket.
The big ticket. So make sure you're subscribed, because we're a big ticket place. And he's a doctor.
Big ticket.
He's been a doctor longer than he's not. So you want to subscribe here, because we're smart people.
And this is how we're going to sign it.
I'm your ice cream man, baby. Stop me when I'm passing by.